Hey, this is Joel Cameron. Thank you for checking out this video where I am showing you a mix where I am mixing a bass drum that had two heads on it and no holes for microphones. So I mic'd it from the outside only. I'm going to show you how I did that, show you why I did that, and show you how I processed it for this mix. Basically, this is kind of a singer-songwriter rhythm section type song. It's just drums, bass, one electric, one acoustic, and that's pretty much it. Super simple arrangement, and this is kind of what the groove sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the stuff here. Get rid of the shaker. Oh, it's got a shaker and a tambourine as well. So just the drums. Now that's obviously an older school vibe. That's not like a pristine multi-mic'd type drum kit. The bass drum, we deliberately went for just kind of a funkier, rattier kind of drum sound. And basically what we used, if I remember correctly, he was playing a little four-piece Slingerland kit from the late 50s or early 60s. It was a 20-inch kick, a 12-inch tom, and a 14-inch floor tom. And like I say, the kick had two solid heads, no holes in the heads, very little muffling inside. And so what I did to get the attack, because I still use two mics, basically an attack mic and a resonance mic. Usually the attack mic is an internal mic. In this particular situation, I was not able to do that, didn't want to, kind of wanted to go this old school vibe. So let me take this processing off real quick, and you can just kind of hear what the tracks themselves sounded like. Here is the attack mic. Oh, and the attack mic, by the way, is placed behind the drum. And since I couldn't get inside the drum, from the front of the drum, you put one in front, and it sounds like this. Okay, I wanted more definition. So I definitely got more definition by putting the mic behind the drum, where on the side with the pedal, and the mic was pointed at where the beater strikes the head. I don't remember which mic I used. I think it was like an AKG D112. It might have been Beyer M88. That's kind of beside the point. But what you will definitely notice when you listen to this track is that there's tons of snare bleed. There is no way to position a mic that I found on the backside of a bass drum without getting a ton of snare bleed. So I do like the kind of funky vibe that the attack has, that this mic has for the bass drum, but I got to get rid of that the snare bleed. So what I've done is I've taken the actual snare track, which here's the top snare track, and I have used a pre-fader send, and I'm using bus 23. Use whichever bus you want, but pre-fader send on a bus. I've got it set for -6. That's kind of my generic send level when I do side chaining. And I have put a compressor on the attack track of the bass drum, and that is set the side chains for key input. The key input is bus 23. So basically it is compressing the attack side of the bass drum when the snare drum hits. So I'm soloing the snare drum now just so you can see that this compresses when the snare drum hits. So it's compressing a ton. I've got a fairly high ratio, got a fast attack. I can actually get an even faster attack. Pretty quick release. Okay, so what that sounds like on the track that it's processing. And just so for comparison, I'll bypass. So that attack is gone, but you'll notice as it releases, it effectively is turning up the ratty sustain of the snare. So I've taken the attack off, but there's still this kind of funky bleed. And just so you know, you can listen to just the drum track, and you can tell that that helps. Again, I bypassed that. I mean, there's that underside snare that you don't really want. So it removed that, but you can hear it going shh, 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 shh. You can hear that release. So there's still some noise there. So to get rid of that, I put an actual noise gate on the bass drum. So pretty basic kind of thing. And it goes from this, with just the compression side chained, to this. Now you may be asking, Joel, why didn't you just use a gate to begin with? Because when I don't use the compressor, you're still getting that smack, which isn't as noticeable in the mix, but I like it gone, so I have more control over the snare drum. And then for the external mic, I just used the noise gate and a little bit of EQ. And on the internal mic, I also EQ'd it. A little bit of attack and a little bit of low mid removed. So not a whole lot of processing. And I like the sound of that plugin. So like I said, it's kind of an old school ratty bass drum sound. So there you go. That is one way of getting a different kind of vibe from the bass drum. Rather than miking it from the inside, you can mic it from the backside and use this kind of processing to get the snare leakage under control and still isolate the bass drum while getting that outside perspective. So thanks for checking out this video. I hope that gives you some thoughts of things to mess with and have fun. And please do check out my blog at joelcameron.com. For other things drum and engineering related. And thanks again for watching.